Now, when Sean Felton took a dream holiday to Thailand, he wasn't expecting to fall in love. But a year later, Sean was married to his holiday romance, and shortly after, son Joby came along. But the relationship broke down, and Sean's world was turned upside down when he returned home from work one day to find his wife and son had vanished without a trace. So please welcome Sean and Joby to the show. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming in. And
thank you.
Let's go back to the holiday then. You go on holiday, you meet someone, you fall in love, and the most natural thing in the world is to come home and start life together. That's
right. It happens all over the world.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we did. I kept going back over to Thailand for holidays, and then we got married, and she came back to the UK, and
within a year that had all happened, and then she fell pregnant.
Then she fell pregnant, yeah.
And you must have been thrilled, you know,
yeah,
thought of having your first child.
Yeah, definitely.
And Joby came along.
Joby came along.
And how quickly did the relationship after that start to have cracks appearing?
To be honest, I got suspicions when she first come to the UK that I didn't see when we was in Thailand.
Right.
Sort of when Joe was born, and there was different issues going on in the marriage. I was sort of looking after Joe while she was doing other things, going out, and the marriage was breaking down.
And eventually you filed for divorce?
Yeah, I filed for a divorce and custody of Joe.
Right.
I was scared for Joe being taken out of the country.
But you were assured, weren't you, that couldn't happen? She couldn't leave with him?
Yeah. Solicitors had told me that all the ports had been notified, so Joe couldn't leave the country. There was an issue with my passport had gone missing as well, so I was really scared of Joe being taken out of the country.
So were you all together in one house still at this point?
Yeah, we was all together. We wasn't sleeping in the same bed, but we
for
was all
practical
together.
reasons, you were all in the same house.
We was all in the same house.
Tell us about that. What must have been a horrendous moment when you came home from work to find the house empty?
Well, I'd sort of relaxed when I was told that Joe wouldn't be able to leave the country, so I relaxed. And when I got back on that evening from work, up until about the 9 o'clock, I was thinking, now have they gone or haven't they gone? It wasn't unusual for her to be out the house, but she'd always leave Joe with me. They wouldn't be out the house till that time together. I did start to think more or less straight away that what had happened, and I thought maybe they've come down to London because she had friends all over the country and things. I was thinking maybe they're in London, maybe I can catch them before they...
Did you inform the police almost straight away then, like within a few hours?
No, it was the next day. I'd been in touch with my solicitor for about a month previous, and with everything that was happening in the marriage, the solicitor had asked me to write down everything on a daily basis and take it to the office every day, what she was doing. And that's what I was doing. So I contacted my solicitor. I contacted the solicitor first thing in the morning, and basically says go to the police station. By the time we got to the police station, they couldn't do anything. First of all, the police said,
Joby was expressly told by our sound man, do not touch your mic. So, of course, he's four. The first thing he did was rip it off his top. And our newly engaged sound man now knows fatherhood is a while away, or having that authority with a little boy is a while away. He's lovely, and he's behaving very, very well.
Cheers,
especially when we get to the kind of stuff he's been through, because he now is in Thailand. You're here. Your search begins to get him back. How did it work from this end? Who helped you here?
Nobody could do anything, to be honest. It was a complete and utter nightmare. It was any parent's worst nightmare. We'd got no government in power at the time. There was changing governments. We'd got all the trouble going on in Thailand with the red shirts. They was demonstrating. I was scared. I didn't know whether he was alive, what had happened to him. I was told to contact a charity called Reunite. They passed me on to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the abduction team there.
And when did you start to use Facebook? Because that was very clever. You started to, you went onto her site, didn't you?
Yeah, it was, that was towards the end. I very quickly realised that nobody could help because of it being a non-Hague Convention country. I thought, the only way I'm going to do this is on my own.
And is that how eventually you tracked her down through the social networking sites?
I'd hired a private investigator in Thailand. They was checking out addresses. Every time they got to the addresses, the huts had been boarded up and they'd moved on. One night I was lying there on the bed and I thought I'll have a look on Facebook. Well, I weren't a big Facebook user at that time. I'll have a look on Facebook, and I was just searching through the names, and she changed her name, but it was definitely her. It was a recent photo, I could tell. So I rang, it was early hours in the morning, I was ecstatic, ringing everyone up saying that, you know, I would eventually found her after, it was, I think, nearly 5 months at that time where I hadn't seen Jo. So my eldest son came round the next day. We set a false Facebook account up with a guy called Matthew Young, said we was from America and had interests in Thailand, and we sent the friend request and she accepted, and when she did I could see all into the photographs that she had in.
What was going on there?
Yeah.
So you got yourself eventually out to Thailand. Who's helping you when you get to Thailand then? Are the British consul helping you out there?
I had a meeting with the British Embassy on the Monday. Basically they said Thailand's an IA convention country, what has happened?
So who is helping you in Thailand then?
Nobody.
Right.
No one's helping me. They said in the British Embassy, they said, if anything happens, make sure you're near an embassy because then you're on British ground. But I was going in the middle of the jungle.
So how did you actually physically get to him then?
Through some help of some yellow shirts in Chiang Mai. The yellow shirts are educated, they're all for the king. They helped me translate documents into Thai that I'd got. And all the evidence.
Because you've had custody at this point, so legally, once you'd found him, you were able to bring him home.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
I'd got full custody and the award of court, but it only takes effect in England and Wales.
Right.
It means nothing in Thailand.
So how did you get him back home then? Was she compliant when she?
I had to pay.
She charged you basically.
Yeah, I had to pay for him.
What was he like when you first found him? What kind of physical?
He was in a terrible state when I first found him. He couldn't speak. And
so how old was he at this point then?
He was 3.
So was he speaking Thai?
No, it weren't Thai. He was confused because she had left him more or less 4 weeks after taking him to Thailand. He'd only been to Thailand once before when he was 9 months old, and we always stayed in the nice hotels. We always, you know, I spoiled Jo to death before he was taken, and I always made sure he was comfortable. So he'd been thrown into Thailand with people. He didn't have a mum, he didn't have a dad. People that didn't speak the language that he'd been brought up on.
Very confused.
Very confused, and he was in a terrible state. So after an argument and discussions with the police, they wanted me to take it to the local courts in Chiang Rai, and I'd already read up on Thai law. So
you get him back home eventually. You go through these hurdles, and I know you've written this down, and you've got a book.
I've got a book.
Yeah, so all the detail is in there. If anybody's this is resonating with anybody at home.
Yeah.
It just when he comes back to England, then how quickly were you able to acclimatise him and get him into the lovely boy who can sit here on a sofa for the whole show that he is now with the cheeky smile and looks so healthy. How long did that process take? How tough was it?
It's an ongoing thing. Like I said, he couldn't speak at all, so the rehabilitation of Jo was horrendous at first. I had to sleep with him on the sofa. I got back the beginning of the October, slept with him on the sofa until the Christmas time. The nightmares and the traumatic experience that he'd had was horrific. To try and get him on
Joby, you're at school now, aren't you?
It'd be
Do you love
great,
it? Yeah. What's your best teacher called?
Miss Birch.
Is she good, is she? Yeah. Do you ever get into any trouble? No, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Well, look, he's a credit to you, and I know you've started a charity up as
Abducted
well.
Angels,
Abducted Angels,
yeah.
to help anybody else who's in this situation.
That's
and
right.
you know, it's luckily, and for all your hard work, it's a story with a happy ending. So,
Cheers,
which
thank
is
you.
fantastic, and he is a credit to you. Thank you so much, Sean, for coming in, and
Cheers, thank
Joby
you.
for bringing your charm to the studio. I think he's quite liking himself on the screen. Yeah, there's a lot of us around here like that. Now, if you want to know anything more about the charity or this incredible story, go to the website, and all the details will be there. Sean, thank you so much.
Cheers,
Have a good
thank
journey
you.
home.
Cheers.
Now,